Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is Wednesday. If you are inside of Patreon, if you are outside of Patreon, it is motherfucking Friday. And I hope y'all are having a good ass day, no matter when you are listening to this. I don't give a fuck if it's 3 weeks in the future, okay? I don't care when you're listening. I hope you are having the best day possible. And I also hope that you are meeting whatever goal, whatever standard you are setting for yourself. I hope you are meeting that. You understand me? Say yes. Thank you. Now, like I told y'all asses the other day, we are going to be running back emails because I have got quite a few. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing emails, but real quick, before we get into our email discussion of the day, I want to talk to y'all asses about professionalism in the workplace and how we need to either review the standard, okay, or we need to lift that motherfucker, because we have been having a really good conversation on social media about professionalism as far as what you're wearing inside of the workplace every single day. And it started with teachers, okay? The conversation started with teachers because there's a young lady who likes to call herself Teacher Bay or whatever she calls herself. And she has been wearing some very interesting outfits to work. Very short skirts, strappy heeled sandals, and I'm not talking about separately. I'm talking about together. Okay. Now, while all of her outfits are not inappropriate, definitely some of the ones that I have seen that she has posted herself are considered to be inappropriate in a professional setting. And I think even more so in a setting where we are molding and shaping young minds. I know that it's every man's fantasy, it seems like, to have a teacher like that. But when that is inside of a school, that's actually very inappropriate. And you guys are victims. I don't know who hasn't told you, but an adult woman messing around with a young boy is inappropriate. Okay, guys, I hate that we even have to spell that out. And some of you may be victims and not even realize it. Because I've seen some of the comments under her videos and they're like, oh, I would have loved to have a teacher like that. The reading levels would be so high if I had a teacher like that. Like, what the fuck, guys? This is weird. And it's not okay for women to be enticing or putting themselves out there for the attention of young boys. Okay? That is not okay. But I wanted to just highlight that also in that setting, in the setting of this regular corporate America, her outfits are inappropriate, no matter where you slice it. And I think we really need to have a conversation about what that standard is. I've also seen conversations saying like, well, white people wear this and white people wear, I don't give a fuck what white people do. That's not like, I just don't give a fuck about that. They're not the standard for us. We set our own standard. Also, the company sets the standard of what is allowed in the workplace. So if your organization allows people to dress more relaxed, then that's just the standard that they have. So I know a lot of startups, they have that type of environment where the standard is not as corporate like, right? It's not as corporate-y, for lack of a better word, or a word, because corporate is not a word, but you know what I'm saying. They don't have that standard. And so we have to match and mimic the work environment that we are in. I know that authenticity is important. I know you want to remain true to your creative self. However, this is a job that you are being paid for, and we have to follow the rules. And I think, just like I said a couple weeks ago, I feel like I'm repeating myself, that I know y'all don't want to follow the rules. That's the problem. Y'all are becoming adults and forgetting that adults have to follow rules every single fucking day. Do you remember seeing videos about when they initiated the requirement for seatbelts in a fucking car? And how people were like losing their minds in small town, mid-America, and they were freaking out about wearing fucking seatbelts. They just could not understand. Why do I have to do? The government shouldn't be telling me. And now look at it. Thank God that is a requirement. Thank God. And you would think, that just simply telling somebody, hey, not dressing like this in front of kids, like that's inappropriate, that would not be, a provocative statement for me to say that. But apparently it is. And I think we really need to get back to the plot, because we've lost the plot. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but in education settings where we are molding your minds, you should not have your titties and your ass out. Period. The end. I don't give a fuck how y'all try to slice it. So let's go to our email. I just wanted to get that out my chest or off my chest because I am actually quite irritated by this stupid ass conversation. I cannot even believe that we are even discussing this. It's so stupid. But I digress. Let's go to our first email of the day. This one says, I have a question. Okay, girl. Well, let's see what your question is. My coworker, God bless her, is a sweet girl, but we are medical assistants in a doctor's office. Patient care is priority, and she doesn't even care to learn her role. So her doctor keeps coming to me, but I have my own work to do. I can't go to management. They don't keep things confidential. What should I do? Number one, I would sit down with your colleague. If she's a sweet girl, I'm sure that she is understanding. I would hope. Okay. You described her as someone who seems like a reasonable person. So I would sit down with her and say, hey, I need you to focus on these roles and responsibilities for your provider. I am an assistant for Dr. Johnson. Okay. I don't know what your doctor's name is, but I'm an assistant for Dr. Johnson. You are an assistant for Dr. Victor, and I'm going to need you to make sure you are present for Dr. Victor. These are the things that Dr. Victor needs, and I need you to make sure you're doing those things because right now I'm kind of doing two jobs, and I can't do that. I don't get paid for that. So I'm going to need you to take interest in what we're doing. If you are stuck and you don't necessarily understand, you can always come to me, but I want you to start taking notes on what I'm saying so that we're not going back over the same things over and over and over. And just reiterate that, find an area that you feel like she's doing great in and highlight that. Start with that first, right? Hey, I think you're doing really good with setups. I think you have done a great job of making sure there are certain things on the tray, but these are the things that I need you to really focus on going forward in this part of your, role. Always start with a good thing first so that what that bad thing is, like the bad information that you're getting ready to follow up with, doesn't seem like such a hard hit. And plus, people don't want to necessarily hear negativity. So start positive, throw in that negative, and get back to the positive. So that's how you want to give them you need to do better at your fucking job sandwich. Okay, that's the sandwich that you want to give them. That you need to do a better job at your fucking job sandwich consists of positive, negative, positive. Okay, and the positive just means this is how we're going to get here, ending with the solution. So if you feel like you can sit down and have that conversation and y'all are in a space where she won't take it personal, and highlight that as well. Like, this is not a personal attack on your character or your work ethic. I just feel like I need you to show up in this way so that we can make the workspace a better environment for us all, and kind of bring that in. So she knows we're a team. I'm willing to help you, but I'm not willing to take on all of the responsibility and the full brunt of focusing on two providers. That's just a lot for me. So I hope that conversation goes well for you. I really hope that you all are able to keep a friendly, a kind relationship, like working relationship after this, and that she doesn't take it as a personal attack. And for those of you who may not be doing your absolute best at your job, I want you to start writing down some of the things that you have been told, right? If people have come to you and said something to you and you receive that information, but you didn't necessarily apply the tips, I want you to start doing that so that your coworkers don't have to have this conversation. I really hate that you cannot even go to management because they're not professional with keeping things disclosed and confidential. I hate that. I really do. And I hope that you all can create an environment where you feel like y'all two can come to each other and really work around terrible management. But that part is going to have to be dealt with at a later date, as far as your management not being able to keep things confidential and not be able to really create a team environment where the team feels comfortable coming to you and be like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I need from you. And no matter what your team status is, that should always be a priority. Your team as a manager.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Should just be able to tell you like, hey girl, I'm not happy with this person. It is nothing personal, but this is going on and I need her to move a little faster. I need her to really be of help to me and provide the resources. My God. I hate that I'm having to have a conversation with a team member and the team member is having to then coach another team member. Like, that's really not the way it should go. But we know from your email that management is not necessarily keen on being confidential and being able to navigate a conversation that's tough. So that means we have to put our big girl drawers on and we got to do it. So have that conversation. And I really hope everything works out really and truly, and give us an update. All right, our next email says, long story short, I reported my supervisor for being racist, sexist, and biased. Since I reported him, he's been calling me up front for petty reasons. Most have been dismissed, but recently he gave me a coaching for being late. He made it seem as if I didn't let anyone know, like I was MIA for 2 hours. I worked shift work. I let my relief know that I overslept and I was on my way. I called the shift supervisor once I got to work and let him know I was there. Here's my problem. He gave me the coaching in front of another coworker, something that should have been done in private. Should I report him to our superintendent, send him an email explaining what he did, or just let it go? Thanks in advance, Betty. Let's circle back really quick, okay? So I'm not sure exactly what the report is that you filed on your manager, but it does sound like some retaliation is happening with the petty reasons why he's calling you up front. However, this one is valid, okay? When you work shift work or any type of job, your automatic requirement when you are running late or if you are going to miss work is not just to let your relief know. You need to let your boss know. Okay, so your supervisor should have been the first one that you communicated with, and then you should have went and let your relief know so that that person is aware of what's happening. That's what should have happened. Okay. Now, while he was being very inappropriate and coaching you in front of another coworker, you were in the wrong because you should have immediately communicated with your supervisor, not once you got to work, because that's what you did. You said, I called the shift supervisor once I got to work and let him know I was there. You should have immediately texted him when you woke up, okay, and realized that you had overslept and that you were running late for work. You should have communicated that to your boss first, then to your relief, or in a group message with the two. That's what should have happened. I do feel like if you go to your superintendent or if you make a big deal out of what he did, it's just going to end up being bad for you because in the end, you were wrong, right? In the end and the beginning, you were wrong. You overslept, you missed your shift. Or part of your shift, and you did not follow the proper protocols to let anyone know that is in a superior role that you are going to be late so that the necessary actions can take place. So I would be very careful with this particular situation because you were wrong. Okay, so if I were you, I would kind of take this one on the chin and be like, okay, I fucked up and he fucked up, but my fuck up could get blown out of proportion. So let's not move forward. If he does something else that you can absolutely say you did not participate in any way with wrongdoing, then yes, that's what you need to take to your supervisor or to your superintendent. But right now, no ma'am, That's what I feel like. Okay, Betty? All right. Okay, and on to our next email. This one says, I've been following you for a while. As of a few days ago, I was an HR manager for a home healthcare agency. I got terminated through text message by the owner, operator, and partner of a franchise, but he doesn't agree with me and doesn't share because he doesn't agree with me and doesn't share the same views. However, my actions have saved the company money time and time again, and I have I have not broken any, because you said I have broken any franchise policy and procedures. I think you meant you have not broken. I am trying to hold all field employees accountable without prejudice, where he shows favoritism towards skilled certain LPNs and RNs caregivers. He does not want me to document counseling reports for disciplinary actions. I have integrity and honesty, and I believe in fair treatment of all employees. My director and owner have stated that I have been an asset, because you put access, baby. I know you was probably mad as hell when you wrote this email. That I have been an asset to the company because of my work ethic and experience. He is an owner and will not speak to me directly to have a phone conversation because he's wrong and doesn't want to face me. So I barely get an email response. I still have to collect my items and turn in my keys. Do I have a case for a lawsuit? A lawsuit for what? What are you suing for? That they fired you? I don't know where you live, but if you live in a place where they can sue you for any reason at all or no reason, then no, because it's a mutual decision. You can leave at any time. They can let you go at any time. The part where I feel like you might be slighted is because it happened in a text message. And you just said in this email is that y'all don't agree. You don't share the same views. You have a different outlook of how this should be ran than the owner. If your outlook and your view is different than the person who owns the business, then yes, they're going to terminate you. They're not going to move forward with employment because you don't share the same values as them. Now, while you may have been a good asset, at some point you became a person where you were a liability to them. Not saying it's right or wrong. Right? Not saying it's right or wrong. All I'm saying is that at some point, they decided that you were not an asset anymore. So then that's when they decided to move forward with termination. And they could say for whatever reason. I don't know what the background is between you and this person and what has happened, because it's just like a little bit of information in this email. But girl, they fired you, and you just have to take that on the chin. Like, everything does not necessarily require closure, okay? And I know you're suing because you want to know why. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter why. You're not going to get your job back. You're not. And if they have anything that states like, we told her she was not a good fit, or her and the owner were not getting along, he has every right to remove you from his franchise. So, I mean, girl, find you another job immediately. Because you and this person do not align, I don't see in any world where it would end well for you, because they reserve the right to not have you employed there. And then you reserve the right to not work there. So if you were deciding to leave, they couldn't sue you because you decided to leave. They decided to let you go, and that's just it. Y'all do not have the same values or same views on how things should be ran within the company, and whether you like it or not, they own it, and you cannot trump them. Okay? Okay. I know that is very hard to hear. However, it's the truth, okay? In your email, you say you have integrity, you have honesty and ethics. So that may be where y'all differ. They don't. So unless you got some shit that shows proof that they are like being unethical, they are breaking laws, they're not following the rules of the parent company, because it is a franchise. If you have something like that shows that you have been trying to bring it to their attention, they have not been trying to follow those rules. Maybe you filed a report and it was a white flag situation and they decided to retaliate against you by firing you, that's something totally different. But you and this person just not getting along and they decided to fire you, they can do that, unfortunately. So you can sue them, but I just don't know how fruitful that is going to be. I do recommend that you start looking for another job immediately if you have not, and not spend so much of your days and focus on this. Okay. That is going to be it for today's episode. Patreon, I want to say thank you so much for listening. We are going to be going live tonight inside of Patreon at 8:45, I believe is our live. And there's like a little reminder there that we're going to be going live tonight at 8:45. So if you have a question that you want to ask, make sure you send those. Otherwise, we're just going to be continuing with the conversation that we've had on social media over the last couple weeks, because I missed a few lives because I had to go to New York last week and it's been just very busy. So I want to make sure we get in at least one live this month. So I will see y'all Patreon tonight, Wednesday, August 27th. And that's it. Y'all have a good ass day and I'll see y'all asses on the internet. Bye.